Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to another Mindset Explosion. We are on season 3 still, episode 28 tonight. I would love some feedback tonight as we're going. Hey Amanda, how you doing? If you feel like you want to comment below, and I'll try and go through some of those either at the end or I'll come back and answer them later on. All right. And so tonight I'm talking about, it's a subject I wanted to talk about for so long. So is it narcissism? Is it really narcissism? And if so, what can we do about it? And I know it's a subject that, for a lot of people that follow me, that it comes up from time to time, or they feel like they've experienced that. So I'm probably not going to be saying nothing new for you guys, but I also know if you've been through it, in terms of the extreme, that sometimes just having someone that understands that, listen, offer out that support, advice, give that advice, it just kind of reaffirms everything doing. Hey Simon, how you doing? Hey Rona, hey Grace. So I dropped out. First of all, thank you everyone that commented on my post. I don't know, did I do that yesterday or Friday? I'm a bit lost on what, I know it's Sunday. But thank you for commenting. I left it a bit vague. I really wanted to see what would come back. And tonight I want to share a couple of definitions that I feel that, and that's after reading some of the comments as well, because I like to see different sides of things. I think there's always, there's three sides to every story, right? There's one person, another person, then there's the bit in the middle. But even in everything, I think there's always like three sides to a story. So it was nice to see those different comments and different aspects of, how people may perceive it. So there was obviously people comments on there, maybe had studied it, heard about it, and hadn't really experienced the extreme. And then others on there had experienced the extreme. So it's really interesting to see those different points of view. So also, I'll talk about some definitions. I don't want to spend too long on that. Also, like if maybe how we could be narcissistic, I don't know. All right. But remember, everything I talk about is observation. It's my thoughts. It's my experience. I'm not a psychologist, so I have got to say that, of course. So if you are experiencing these things, you're not sure, then always seek, professional help. That's very, very important. But I will give you some, a little bit about some experiences and what you can do if you're going through it or gone through it, if you're not sure, and what you can do from there. And hopefully, we'll have a good chat. So as always, drop some comments in. All right, I'll do my best to get through them. It's very difficult. I'm going off my phone, so I'm seeing them pop up, and I will try and answer as I go. So as a definition, I know there's a bit of discussion on that on my post. So look, if you go on Google and just Google what it is, well, it's someone having or showing an excessive interest or admiration of oneself and physical appearance. So we could say that about all of us. If we look in the mirror, we'll be a narcissistic or a narcissist, all right? It's narcissism. If we want to have, I've cut my hair, all right? So I did it myself, whatever. So we could say that's narcissism, right? I'm trying to do more on my social media. That can be classed as being narcissistic. Other definition someone put in was, is it self-love? So, because narcissism, it's a word that gets chucked around quite a lot. I'm going to come on to the extreme as well. So tonight I want to talk about, how it can be perceived, but I really want to talk about the extreme as well. And that's the main topic of the, this conversation. But in terms of where my post went, then yeah, it could be perceived as, self-love, whatever. And, you ever heard when someone says, they love themselves? But I don't think there's anything wrong in that. I think, if anything, as everything is right in loving ourselves, because if we can't love ourselves, there's no way you're going to be able to love someone else. It's possible, right? But there's going to be some conflict there, I'm pretty sure. So if I take it to that extreme, it's like we have to love ourselves first. And there's nothing wrong with that. As if someone loves themselves, of course, it's how that's taken in context. So in some respects, I do feel that we can go through stages of our life where we can maybe have some traits of narcissism. Now I'm talking where it goes a bit crazy, whatever. And I'd say more often than not, it can come maybe on a relationship breakup, or whether it be with a friend or work and whatever. So there are times I think these traits come out, especially when we put under extreme pressure. I'm talking a bit from my own experience, really, because I think we've all said and done things and we just think, oh, what the hell did I say that for? But I don't think that makes us narcissistic, because if we're aware of something that we've done wrong and we're now prepared to actually change and do something about it, be accountable for it. Now, I don't think then that makes you narcissistic, because in terms of a personality disorder, in what I've researched, and I read loads a few years back and prior to that, because it was just something I was pretty adamant that was going on at the time, to try and understand it a little bit more. And I would say that that person with the personality disorder, then no, I don't think they're going to take any accountability. And a lot of the posts that people have commented was pretty much clarified that you know, there's gaslighting that goes on, and it's projecting that over to other things, and it starts to take away from us. So we start to lose an element of control. Now, we all want to have some sort of control, don't we? And we all want things to go in a way that we want to go. So I think there's a time when things can look narcissistic, or someone is a narcissist on a behavior, but I don't think that necessarily means that that's exactly what they are. So Amanda put here, grandeur, entitlement, covert masks, come off, self-important, immense jealousy, split personality, controlling, projecting. Says see more. Sorry, I'll have to click that in a minute, Amanda. But yeah, absolutely right. These are the traits now of a personality disorder, where all these things, you know, start to happen, and they come out, and they project either onto us and even out onto other people. So I think, if I just recap there, I think it's possible that we go through ourselves where we have some of those traits can come out. So when someone's telling you narcissistic, and they're a narcissistic person, it's quite easy then to believe what they're saying, I feel, okay? But that doesn't necessarily, you know, that's not whole true. If you're accountable for something, then I don't think you can be classed as narcissistic. If you've got empathy for someone, then no, definitely not. I don't think a narcissistic person, or if you've been in that type of relationship, and relationship being, because we had it from work, friends, and we have had it from, not me personally, within the comments, you know, in actual relationships. And so how does it happen? I'm talking to my mum about it today, because some of my experiences, she wasn't part of the cause, but we were involved, and a few of us were caught up in one person's total destructive behavior. And the things you don't know about it until afterwards. It's because like, who's going to come across as a total pain in the backside? It's just, everyone wants to be charming. Everyone wants to be, you know, going to come across as kind and considerate. And that's some of the stuff that can throw you off balance. So, and I've wanted to talk about it so long, and the reason I haven't is because what I did not want to do was open up this can of worms to come back upon me. So I got to keep all names out of it, and people are in my inner circle now, which is very small now. It's all good. They'll probably know, but that's okay. All right. So how do you know? Like I said, I think talking to my mum today, time. Over time, you just realize. On hindsight, you find out a whole lot more as well. And I think at first, everyone you meet for the first time, of course they're going to be nice. Who wouldn't want to be? Sometimes though, you can spot it straight away. And I would say, if you're around a person that's of that, I'm getting into like actual personality disorder, narcissism now. You may spot it when you're out, when you're in a restaurant, or you're at a pub or somewhere, on how they are with other people, because that type of behavior cannot be kept up. It is like a mask, like Amanda said. It's a mask, and it's fake. It's whatever you want to put class as that. I know a few people said about it as a label for this, and everything's a label at the end of the day. But we're talking about, you know, an actual personality and the effects of that. But that act, and it is an act, it can only last for so long, and it can only be kept up for so long. Some of the things I read is like, this type of person, they struggle keeping long-term friends, long-term relationships, like real friends. Like, it's not like I haven't got friends, it's just that they just seem to like come and go. Now that happens in life anyway, right? But I got friends I know from when I was 8, 11, and great friends that have come along the way as well. And yeah, of course, friends coming in and out, but I'm talking about that long-term friendships that last you may not see them for a year, but you will see them tomorrow, and it's like, oh, you remember them? And you're chatting away and whatever. So I think in conversation, you start to pick up on things as well, but at the beginning it's very, very difficult. And I think a lot of people that I've spoke to have got caught out in this type of thing when they've been in their own vulnerable mind or whatever as well. And I'd say that, and I think it happened to me, but I also know where I'm accountable. I know where I'm accountable for something. And look, we all make mistakes, right? We all say things at the wrong time, and all these things happen. And we have a choice when we're in this environment. And whether it's narcissism or not narcissism, we still got a choice to say, do you know what? I don't feel right at the moment. I don't feel that this is what it should be. And there's nothing wrong with that. You could have made a promise tomorrow, or yesterday, and you might change your mind today. There's nothing wrong with that. As I say, I think sometimes that's why it can come out in, when someone's been married and stuff. And I think on most relationship breakups, whether it be friends, family, whatever, it can, I feel some of these things come over, but that's different. I don't say that's always narcissism, unless it's, you can clearly see over the duration of that friendship, relationship, that these things are happening. Yeah, and there's so much emotions that, can go on, and all sorts of things happen and get said. Let's bring it back to this subject though. So where we feel that something's not right, that I noticed that, I think with myself, I don't want to mention names, but I started to notice that it was like very gradual, and it'd be the odd thing, and you kind of think, well, that don't seem right. That's not maybe how you first came across. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe this is just a bad day. Gaslighting, that I've got on my notes here, so from looking back. So gaslighting is a big one. And I'd say a trait that I started to notice, but it's almost like there was fault in everyone that came into contact. Anyone that came around. This person's this person's that. This person's narcissistic. And even at one point, it's like I started to think everyone was narcissistic. You're absorbing it. And I always thought I was never influenced by anything. Some of my friends want to go off and do whatever, and I say, okay, you guys go do that, I'm going to do this thing here, whatever. And it was cool, right? Because we're good friends, everyone respects each other. So it starts to get in. And as well, it was like sometimes like this off-the-cuff comment. And you kind of think, oh, that don't make any sense. And then you just blow it, just pass it off, it passes off somewhere else. So these little seeds just start coming in, because it's only so long that act, or whatever you want to call it, can be kept up. And if you've experienced this, just drop in and say, yes, I know what you mean, Matt, I know what you mean, or I don't know. Or you're listening. So if there's something I'm saying and it resonates, drop it in below, because there may be someone else watching right now feeling the same thing, and I want this video to be a video that kind of helps and reassert something or whatever, and take us forward. That is the most important thing. So if you've been in this situation, very important that you've got is getting that plan to come out. We come back to gaslighting. Very often it's like, it felt like whatever they were saying about someone else was almost very much a reflection upon themselves, if that makes sense. And we do that anyway. What we see in others, I truly believe, is quite often a reflection of ourselves. So it might be like spinning the truth, faulting you, faulting others, distorting reality very much. But the thing is, with this type of behavior, whatever they believe, I truly believe, they 100% believe that. No matter what you say or do to try and convince otherwise, it is gonna drain. It's like drain you, like a energy vampire, I call them. So it will take so much from you. But because we if you like most cases, we're reasonable. We want to work a compromise. We want to work a resolve. Come on. But you get caught up in it very quickly, and before you know it, your brain is like, "What the hell is going on here? What you mean this? The parasite. That's the one." Yeah. So these comments are great because it reinforces it, and especially if you've been through it. So thank you for commenting, because it's gonna help someone, I'm sure. So look, something is wrong. You start, but you will find excuses because we're human beings. Grace, said a great thing on there. It's like, I believe these people can change. And I think, I felt the same. I think someone who's truly on this though, until they accept that they got to take some accountability for things that haven't been right, because how can everyone be wrong? How can the person was like, this job, that job, every boss, every person was a complete toxic person. Like, how can everyone be like that? It doesn't make sense. So there were little things starting to show through, and I would try and pull away, and I think, then they'd be okay. And you think, actually, they're okay now. But maybe it was just in my head. Maybe I was just over-exaggerating. No one was really saying, Simon, no, you cannot win. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Simon, no, you can't win. It's Amanda. You won't win with this person. The only way to win is to cut them off, and I'll come on to that in just a sec. So they'll always be right, and they're not going to have zero accountability, very much lacking in empathy. But most of us are, we do have a reason of empathy, so that's why we're still in it. And you don't know until you unfortunately got to go through the whole rubbish to realize it, if that makes sense. So that's quite a tough one, especially, I know some people, I think someone posted about it not so long back, and someone called, I didn't realize, it was like that. Oh my God, it is. I think anyone's been through it, it's like, oh, you have no idea how much it can totally destroy, not just you, but everything that's going on around you. So there is no compromise. There is no, maybe they'll be okay. There is no, it's going to sort itself out. There is never going to be a resolve, and call them out at your peril. And I think, in most cases, like in a relationship should be like really, there's give and take, right? We're all going to make mistakes. We're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to say the wrong thing to your mate one day. You're going to get upset. Between my friends, we've it's done it, and then the next day, I was such a dick yesterday, and I shouldn't have said this, and then you sort it all out, whatever. That is normal, right? It's accepting accountability, but no, not with this type of person. It's just not going to happen, and it will be crazy stuff you will hear, and because it's crazy, I think I don't know if they know what they're doing. My mum seemed to think that, yeah, they know exactly what they're doing, because it's that attention. And sometimes bad attention is just as good as the nice attention. And I feel like I'm a giving person, and I do a lot. I feel that, but I can't give everything of my time. And I know this, when you start to say no, then you get an idea. Because sometimes you just gotta say no. You can't just do everything just because someone wants that. We get so stuck up in that. So we got a choice in life. We don't have to. We don't have to do it someone else's way. Yes, try and compromise, but if you're not quite ready for something, and we've all been there. I wanted something that couldn't have it, and it upset me, and okay, well, now I got to deal with that. We all go through that, right? But to the extreme, when it's a no, it's like, oh my gosh, all hell breaks loose. And you might as well go and have an argument with a 3-year-old child, because that's pretty much how it becomes. But the worst part is, I found for myself, is that I was becoming someone I didn't like, and it was almost like I was becoming like that, and I think you don't realize that's what's happening. Because you become who you surround yourself with, and it's almost like, oh, now I'm almost thinking the same way, and you're kicking off then when you would never normally kick off. Your patience has totally been shot, but then you're kept off balance, because tomorrow I'm going to be real nice to you. I'm going to totally throw you off balance now. I'm going to do something so kind. And then the mask comes back on, but it can only be kept up for so long. Fortunately, in my situation, I found out that this behavior was going on around me with, other people around. And you can't, and when you cut someone off, you really just gotta cut them off and be prepared for the backlash for that. Don't be fearful of that, because what's more painful, having a little cut here, and let it heal. It could be there's gonna be a deep cut in this sense, but let it heal, it's fine, all right? But if you don't sort it out, it's just going to get infected. Do you know what? It's almost like a pandemic of itself, in that it will, in this case, it was like there was a total, it was almost like sabotage on such a grand scale. Simon Wilson put it in one of the comments. If you put a sword in front of this person, once you've called them out, they will happily step forward into it. And it was so true. I couldn't have thought of a better thing. No matter how much you think they're going to get better or change, or even if they did say they needed help, and in fact in this case they said they needed some help, and people were there, okay, well, we'll help you, support you, but no, they didn't really, because that then took away that power of the, hey, I know how you bring it, how to bring someone in. I think Simon also said about it being a learned behavior. I know, talking to Mum, and sure Mum you won't mind, but I'm not sure how that will come across, but I think we can learn it. I think it can be a learned behavior. Sometimes it's just, maybe the way all these people are wired. Maybe a learned behavior from someone else, but also a learned behavior in, oh, actually, if I do this, I get my own way. And if I do this again, I get my own way. And now I can control every aspect. And friends, I know Mary put a comment that friends were telling her in her situation, friends were telling her that this person, this is that. And the same. Someone very close saying, Matt, this is not right. I didn't want to listen to it. Because I like to make my own minds up. I like to judge people for who they are. And the reason, again, even when the aftermath, I could see what was going on. I could see what was being said and whatever. And I just had to, right, just let them get on with it, and then just let that burn out. A bit like this virus. And it is like a virus, because they want to infect everything around you. That's how it feels, right? And you just got to let that virus, once you get rid of it, all right, get your anti-immunes up, and that's it. It will burn itself out eventually. And some people, they're going to say whatever they're going to say, whether it doesn't matter whether it's, just don't even worry whether it's true, lie, whatever. Just let them crack on. All that mattered for me afterwards was having my good friends. And I made some great close friends because of it. Unfortunately, they were going through some of the same stuff. They were having stuff said to them about their appearance, and some of it been going on a bit longer. And I feel like, what? I feel it's one of them things, like Simon said, you never get over it. It's always there. I feel I'm over it, but and I've learned from that. And what it's meant is that small circle, I keep the circle small, all right? And I trust, and I've now got even great friends because of it. And pretty much friends that I could share anything with. The downside to it is, and maybe it's a downside or upside, is I'm probably a bit too more aware in that if I get that slight inkling of someone's kind of got that behavior, I'll see you later, but without kind of making such a drama about it, if that makes sense. So if you feel like you're in there, be prepared, cut it off. You can't cut it off a bit. I tried that, it didn't work. And as well, these people, they are definitely going to be, if they're talking about, they got something to say about everyone, when your back's turned, they will definitely have something to say about you. Don't care what you think they are as a friend or a relationship or a work colleague, they will have something to say about you. And if you're not sure, you can do what I did and test it and just say something that wasn't quite true and see where that went. But that's another story. Maybe that was my own narcissistic behavior. I don't know. But it gets to a point where it has got to stop. You can't allow them to have one foot in the door. And with this person, someone felt they had an unhealthy obsession with me, and on hindsight, yes, true, and I can understand why. But I can understand why just from how I considered them, as a friend or whatever, right? So I just turned my notes over. But that's life, and things happen, right? So I take my accountability in that sense. But comes a time, you just got to cut that off, but not have that one foot in. But be prepared. When you there's no point calling them out, because you will just get dragged in to a whole another 3-year-old's argument. And I say that from kind of how I feel about it from my experience. And I'm sure those that have been in that situation, you'll feel the same. And the aftermath is they're going to go and say all kinds of things about you. And do you know what? Let them crack on. I had to remove a few people from my timeline because it just felt like they were going there deliberately to be in my space a little bit. I'm sure they was somehow trying to invite me on some videos or whatever. And I just removed that person, because, you know what? Protect my peace. And I know that would have fed I'm sure it would have fed anything that was being said, because, you know, that's how it works, and that's fine. What was important to me was moving forward, moving on, and I felt a responsibility for those that have been affected by it, because, you know, in a way that person was put there because of me. So that's the accountability, you know, from my point of view. And that's that. But the great thing is, well, I got great friends now, and I literally, I think a few people said when they cut them off, it was like, it's like this load is gone. Oh my God, what a relief. Everyone can breathe. And literally within about a month, everything changed, because it had affected work. It had affected, you know, how I was feeling. And probably, yes, them to a degree, of course, because, you know, that was how they preferred, it seemed how they preferred to be. So everything went fine after that, literally straight away. And as the friendships that were in my close circle, they just grew. I made the mistake of confronting them about something. The mistake being, not that I regret saying what I had to say, I just, you know what, again, I become a version of myself I didn't like. And I think that's where it gets to. And I noticed it in someone else when they brought some things up, and I thought, oh my God, it's not me. I could see their emotions, they were almost shaking in the way they were talking. And you could almost see it's like their brain was trying to process what the hell was going on. And I think that was almost confirmation that this isn't just me now, this isn't in my head. And I think a lot of people have put in the comments is that they're made to feel like they're at fault. It's always you, it's always you. Everything becomes a drama. You say an off-the-cuff thing, and it's like, oh, you know, but what about this? And before you know it, all hell is going loose, and you got to justify, you know, anything that's on Facebook or social media, anything that, you know, who you're talking to, anything, and you kind of, who are you to be just asking me this? So the effects can last, but I think, like I said, good does come from it. And don't waste your breath trying to explain to everyone. Just keep that circle small. I know some people in the past, and everyone got to deal with things how they got to deal with them. I found it quite useful to do a bit of research on it, help me get my head around it. And I think at the time, because that word had been thrown about a lot, it was like, oh my God, am I narcissistic then? Because when you're caught up in it, it's very easy to because you start behaving in a version of yourself that you just don't like, and you know something's wrong. So it's and that has a knock-on effect to other people as well. So it's very easy when someone of like this is saying to you, oh, you're the narcissist. It's very easy to believe that. It's very easy to think that. And because but you have to understand, as that slowly got chipped away, and I thought my mindset was, yeah, it can happen to anyone, and we could all be influenced. So I think for me, what worked, and I know I think Mary put this, that did the research on there, and it will help you understand. I think I was like on a few of the Facebook pages. I come off them in the end because I didn't want to keep flashing up all the time. I didn't want to be reminded about that. That's easy enough. You know, there's always something that's going to remind you. So the most important thing is, I don't want to become like that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to go around saying, well, there's this, and this. Close friends, yeah, no worries, because that's part of friendships. But I think the danger is, because you've been around that, and because you know that they can be maybe tarnishing your name, which I know I've had a few private messages about that. Don't worry about that. You can't control that. What you can control is you. I think someone had put, really, like, your actions speak louder than words. And that's it. Your actions speak louder than words. And if someone got to believe, even if it was a close friend or family member, wants to believe what someone else is saying, and you know it's not true, then probably they're not maybe, they probably didn't know you anyway. And it doesn't matter, if that makes sense. It really don't matter. The most important thing is the ones that do give a hoot, the ones that do support you, and that close, smear campaign, right? Definitely. It does become a big smear campaign, and it goes on, it doesn't stop. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Actions speak louder than words. And those that care, know. And those that have been through it as well, because I'm sure you wouldn't be the only one. Especially some of the comments that I was reading where they like their friends had noticed it, so it must have had an effect to them. Where that person must have said something else to one of their friends. They would have picked up on it, right? My family, they were like, oh my gosh, this happened. Then friends were like, Matt, this happened. Even now, between some of the other ones, it just comes out and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know about that. They will divide and conquer you, if that's not the right word, but pretty much divide you up to separate you from those ones that are close. No one can come close. No one. I mean no one. In the extreme. And I know some of you, maybe if you haven't been through it, you will not get your brain around it. And I pray to God you don't have to, but you won't get your brain around it. And even after, when you have, it takes a bit of time to think, did that really happen? Was that like just some of them weird dreams? No, I'm afraid it happened, but you're stronger for it and you're ready to move on. So research helped for me. I think I talked about the chimp paradox. There's a part on there. Psychopath is quite a horrible word, and not in the term of like killing someone, but that's whether it's true or not. It's like someone said, it's just a label at the end of the day. But for me, it helped me understand certain things. Right? Okay. And I think someone like that, they're never going to be able to help because I don't think they want to. If they did, they wouldn't be narcissistic, would they? Simple, right? Or they wouldn't be anymore. So research helps, but don't keep yourself in that loop either. You also, like, good friends will help you grow. And that's so important. Good friends, good people, good relationships help you grow, and you help them grow. And it may not be smooth, but you help each other grow. All right? And that, I think that's key. You grow, you grow, you grow. You may go on different paths, but as long as you're growing, rising tide raises all ships. People won't hold you back. They won't try and control an aspect of your life. And if it's, I know for some people it's relationships and marriage and things like that. Jealousy, look, that's their problem. Unless you're a bad person that is just gonna, flounce on it, whatever. Well, in that case, you've got to look at yourself and think, well, you obviously don't love that person anymore, or you didn't love them. And that's that simple. Jealousy is a killer for so many things. But we all can feel that, but how you deal with it is very different. Sorry, just look at my notes again. So yeah, chimp paradox helped me. So don't stay there. So like I said, I was looking at a lot of on the pages, and I read that, oh yeah, that makes sense, that yeah, okay, well that's that. So it helped for a bit, but then I had to cut that off, come off those pages, because otherwise you're staying there. And like I said, good friend, get a good circle of friends around you. Yes, I'm not saying you can't talk about it, of course not, because it's going to come up. Make a joke out of it if it helps. And in that sense, everyone got to heal on their own time. So if there's a few of you involved, you're all going to be different. So there's times where I thought, actually, I'm all right, but I can see this person's still kind of a bit with it. But as long as they're growing, great. And everyone grows together, if that makes sense. All right? You have a choice. We all have a choice. And it's not your fault. That's the first thing. You're not any of those things, especially if you're feeling so, that empathy about it. But you have a choice. If it's not right, you're right. And it doesn't matter what anyone's going to say to you. It doesn't matter. Because I think I was reading something that was, but they kept saying, but I've done all these things for you. Well, doesn't that happen in a relationship anyway? Don't you do things for someone else? Don't you do things for your friends? And don't you do things for your partner? That happens. You all do that. You've been sat there and nothing's happened. Well, in that case, I didn't get that far in the first place. But you're going to do that. You're going to, make nice meal, or you're going to drive someone somewhere, you're going to do those things. You know, isn't that what happens with friendships? So that can't be held against you. So, and I think I've done this before on a separate subject. Again, it's from the chimp paradox. I think it's great. If you wrote a list out of this person, because they're going to have good traits about them, they're going to come across as kind, and in and out, in and out, in and out. But if you wrote that first list, everything great about this person, that list is going to be long. It's surely going to be long. And this was used in terms if you're not happy in any type of relationship. The next list would be, well, things not too sure about this person, but, you know, I'm just going to live with it. They're probably not going to be so bad, because we all have things we're not, you know, no one's perfect. And that's the problem with this narcissistic, but they want to be perfect. They don't like anyone higher up than them. And they will very often knock that tower down in hope that their tower will be so much bigger, but it's not, it stays the same. The third list, if there's anything in the third list, well, that's it. It's time to cut this off, because the big list of everything's good is what always pulls us back and what keeps us. So it's why we keep going back, think, well, I'll be right this time. Maybe they'll change. And we've all done that, right? We've all been through that. But that last list, if there's something on there that doesn't feel right, well, that's it. It's time to say, look, this isn't working out, and it's time to move on. In some cases, yeah, hopefully if they're not narcissistic, they can, you know, you can definitely, you know, speak to them and be friends, and it's all good, right? But this person, no, you just got to cut them off. And they keep bouncing up because they still want to somehow be in front of your vision. That's why I haven't really wanted to do it too much, because I don't want to drag that in. But you know what? I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. Thank you for all the comments, by the way. If it's resonated with you so much, then thank you for sharing your own experiences with this as well. So important. You've got a choice now, all right? If you're in that situation, you know, and you feel it's not right, take a big leap out. It's gonna be painful. It's like ripping a plaster off. It hurts for about a second, and that's it. And then you start moving forward. They might go and say whatever they're gonna say, or bribe you with it, or whatever. Just let them crack on, all right? Actions speak a lot louder than words every single time. And yes, they're gonna find their next victim, because that's what happens. And then the process will start again. They might go back to an old victim. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Let them get on. You won't be able to control that situation. Don't feel you got to go in and say, listen, you know, because they're not going to listen to you. Because probably that's already been set up, if that makes sense. People got to find out for themselves. It's time to be strong again, Beck. You know it makes sense. Definitely. And you know, haven't gone through it, you're stronger for it. You're much more aware, and look around you. You've got a great, I'm talking to everyone, you've got a great bunch of friends around you. And if they've been through it with you, and they're there now supporting you, being the great friend they were, and you may have felt you lost them at one point, well, listen, they're true friends. And nothing is better, nothing more than having a true friend around you, right? Exactly. Thank you so much. All right. So again, I'll just reiterate my top tip. Remember the advert? Get out, stay out, get the fire brigade out. You got to do that, right? If you feel in that environment, take a step back. If there's children involved, I know it's not as easy, but there are means around that. Seek help, okay? Some people may need professional help with that. And I say if you've been in where it's got to the real extreme, because I feel that situation felt, it was crazy. But I don't think it got to if it gone on, it would have gone, you know, who knows. But I know for a lot of people, it can get to the extreme where it becomes physical abuse as well. But the worst is always mental. And that is probably the biggest killer. And perhaps where we've been in this situation where we've been forced to, you know, in a situation at the moment, it may be, you know, that these things that gives us time to think or whatever. But don't confuse it with, you know, emotions of, you know, fear or whatever. Because I think some of these traits can come out a little bit then. But you got a choice. And if something doesn't feel right, if it don't feel right in your gut, you're absolutely right. Sometimes we can listen to our heart, and you know, because we want to feel good and we want to feel great. But I'd say, you know, when it comes up in your gut, 9 times out of 10 for me, my gut has been absolutely right. My head should have told me to listen to it a little bit more, maybe. But you don't have to feel bad or guilty about, you know, making that change. No matter how they will try and make you feel about it, don't feel guilty about it. It's your life. It's your life to, you know, don't confuse don't confuse butterflies with anxiety. Great statement there, Amanda. It's your life, all right? You don't have to feel that way. You do have a choice. But remember, there's social conditioning around us all the time as well. And that can play a part. And anything you've said will be used against you. Just don't worry about it, all right? It's going to get twisted. It's going to get distorted. But the biggest step is actually accepting that's what's going to happen. Be true to yourself, and everyone that knows you will understand that, you know what, this is not, that don't make sense. Don't have it. In fact, someone said to me, how can, and the thing is, it was like things were starting to come. Did I not think it strange when there were certain things, or like this seemed to happen around this person, and they kept bringing, you know, all these things. It seemed to be always somebody else's fault. It's a bit like, you know, Superman. No one ever recognized. No one ever worked out Clark Kent was Superman just because he put these glasses on. Happens in life. We joke about these things, but it happens in life. You got a choice, is where I was getting to. Seek professional help if you need it, all right? And I'd say if it's affected you that much, go and do that. Nothing to be ashamed of. For me, it's unfortunate that people around me were going around, were in the same situation from the same person. I wish that didn't happen, but I'm also kind of grateful because it helped. It made a lot of things make sense, and I think for all of us. And even sometimes this day, it was like, what, that happened? Well, that makes sense now, but that don't make sense. And literally it seemed like we were being turned against each other. Can't work though. Can't work when you've got good friends. So there you go. All right, guys, thank you so much. Everyone has commented. All right, I will do my best to get through them next couple of days. And reach out. Got any questions? And if you just need like a bit of a chat that's private, you know, everything's in confidence with myself. You know, just reach out. All right, because I do understand. And the thing is with everything like this, it's just not, for everything I've been through, can't judge anything really. And just trust in people still. Don't be afraid to trust. But if you get that little spidey sense tingling, just listen to it. You don't have to continue with something. You can give it another go. It's up to you, all right? Don't be afraid to trust. I've still tried, you know, I still trust people. And if I feel that something's not right, say, okay, ease back a bit, or just say, yeah, this isn't, the friendship's not going to work out, and wish you all the best. Nothing wrong with that. You don't owe anything to anyone, just yourself. Not everyone. I've had to learn to say no a lot, and not feel bad about it, because I want to be helpful. I want to do, you know, I like helping people. I like doing things with people, but you know what? I need some peace as well, right? And that's the biggest thing. You just gotta protect your peace. It's your peace. It's no one else's. Theirs is different. Sometimes, hopefully, you can have the same, you know, piece together and, you know, feel good. Yeah, boundaries, man. The boundaries get crossed. And you've got to understand those boundaries. Once they've been set, if someone wants to cross them, that's fine. But there's always a consequence for that. But the biggest thing is we got a choice. We've got a choice in where we go next. We've got a choice in what we're going to do about it and how we move forward. And I think the biggest thing is keep moving forward. Yeah, I'm a fitness coach, martial arts coach. Go and do some martial arts, go and do some fitness. Be with me anywhere, go and dance. Release that energy out, talk to the good friends, and then start planning, right, where do I go from here now? I'm going to do some great things. I'm going to feel on top of the world. I'm going to set some goals. I'm going to feel good about myself, brave and confident, because we're not any version of what we were years ago. I'm not Matt Rudman. I got people follow me from when I was at primary school still, and I bet, if anyone watching when I went to St. Peter's with, I bet I'm nothing like what you remember. I'm sure it's the other way around, right? Because we all changed, we grew, we went through our own different life experiences. We lost people in love, and we lost people in family, and some great things happened to us, and then also some not so great things happened to us. It shapes us who we are. But you don't, anything, if you've been through this kind of situation, it doesn't define you at all. Even if, like my mum said, when you start to become, you don't like who you're becoming a little bit because you're getting sucked into it, definitely time to step away. So it's just being honest with yourself, isn't it? So, I think I got caught up in, flipping out. Even now I look at it, I go, what? I feel like a kid. Just almost embarrassed about it, really. But it is what happens. And it's nothing to be ashamed about, right? Because I got a choice. All right, guys, have a great evening. I got a guest next Sunday. All right, I'm real looking forward to it. It's another mindset coach. So please tune in then. All right, and again, drop us a message if you've got any questions. And if I don't answer a message, don't worry, I'm not ignoring it. I get a lot, so I have to pick. I kind of go through them when I got the time to do it. Have a great Sunday evening. All right, be good. Look ahead. Don't look back. The only time to look back is how far up the mountain you have come. All right. These people, they won't define you. They make you a stronger, better version of yourself. You should be thanking them, but don't do that, because then you're caught back up in their destruction and chaos and everything else that comes with it. Is literally a path of destruction. But that's life, right? There's some great people on here. Simon Walker, thank you for tuning in. He's a great coach as well, mental health coach. There's people are talking on this feed, great coaches and great people can help, all right? So if I can't, I know these guys will. Me and Simon, we got a video in a couple of days, Tuesday. So we got monthly mindset Tuesday. Guys, I'm going to go, all right? I'm getting carried away. Love you all right? Peace, love, good health. Peace, love, health. Whoosh. When I press the end, right?